Yeah, it's funny because I was about to say, like, you don't feel like you're single. And then you
do you give off single vibes if you're single?
I think some people do, definitely.
Really? Oh,
You know what
I mean,
Like,
yes.
Yeah.
The guys who are really single.
Yeah, the other hot boy summer.
It's like, what are you trying to do?
Oh, yo, what's up,
What are you
girl?
craving, shawty?
yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm Mario.
And I'm Peter.
And we're Guys That Listen. On today's episode, we have content creator, chef, rap sensation, Mr. David Nguyen.
Yo.
Thanks so much for having me.
Honestly, I was so surprised when I saw your rap video. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, David's so talented. Holy shit.
Thank you. Yeah, that is like another thing of his own, and I'm sure Amy knows. She's been like a longtime supporter. That was like during my high school. Yeah,
Wow, dang.
like high school was like I don't know, it was like back in the days, you got your new boys and the jerking era.
Yeah.
So, growing up, everybody wanted to be cool. And I think, but for me, music was like my way of like expressing myself when I can't verbally express something to somebody, or I turned to music and my medium was rap.
Is it the same thing with cooking? Like, you just find this creative experience in just making stuff?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, looking back at rap, looking at rap and poetry and cooking, now it's like my form of storytelling. Rapping was storytelling, and Mario knows this because he went to my pop-up last year. That was a part of storytelling, where like each course that I put out, there was like a little bit of a story behind it. So so I guess it's like storytelling at the end of the day.
That pop-up was really good. Like it was the dessert though. That dessert was so good.
What was it?
Flan food.
Yeah. it was
Classic.
flan with Vietnamese coffee ice cream, was it?
So it's like it's basically flan, creme caramel for everybody at home, but it's the way. I mean, it has a French background, or Spain if anybody wants to be technical, but the way we enjoy it in Vietnam is just so darn humid that you gotta have a little bit of like Vietnamese coffee and a little bit of crushed ice on top, and that was like
So I have to say this before we go any further. If any of you guys have eaten David's food or anything like that, the best dish he's ever made is this salad.
A salad.
It's the salad.
Forget the steak, forget the
everything
lobster.
else. It's the salad. Oh my god.
Wait, what was this about? What about the salad?
The first time I ever met him was like 3 years ago. We were in Temecula for Amy's birthday, and she's like, "Yeah, I have this friend. He's a really good chef. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he's gonna come cook for us." Oh, okay, that's
Like
cool.
all casual.
Yeah, all casual. Like, he's there. He's like slaving away all day, like making this, how many courses? Like 10, 15, something?
Jesus.
No, not that much. I think it was like almost 6-7 dishes. Like platters. Like,
Yeah.
You're talking about like platters, like party platters to feed like a group of like 15 people, I think.
Yeah, we got
15 to 20.
steak, we got lobster, we got a bunch of different dishes. We leave, we get wine, come back. He's still working on it. We're there, we're chilling. And he's finally done. We've been waiting. Everyone's hungry. We drank a little bit earlier. We haven't smoked, nothing like that. Dude, I swear to you, it's not just me. We tried that salad, and it was the best salad I've ever had in my life. And me, Ivy, everyone else were like, dude, this salad is so good. And we had like prawns, lobster,
scallops,
like,
but they were raving about the salad.
And I was like, I tried everything, and I'm like, yo, is there more salad? And I've never forgotten that salad ever.
That's crazy. So what made it stand out so much?
I have no idea.
It's just a dressing that I do. It's a little secret because I'm gonna bottle it one day.
Oh, damn.
Well, you're gonna find it at the
David's secret
shelf.
sauce.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no,
That's
that won't be
good.
able to sell. But no, something that I think I'm gonna bottle one day. So it's I think something that I've shared already on my page. So
really?
If anybody wants that recipe, they could look for it on the page.
Oh, yeah. David, tell us what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi, guys. My name is David Nguyen. I am a chef, content creator, and also a storyteller. I've been cooking for about close to 9 years now, and creating content for around 2 years since the pandemic.
Wait, so when you started creating content during the pandemic, was that something you were interested in doing before, or just like, hey, there's nothing to do right now, let's create content?
So to answer that question, let me backtrack a little bit. I was cooking from 2013, actually no, 2012 to 2017.
Oh.
And in 2016, 17, I was at like this 3 Michelin star restaurant. If you haven't heard about it, it's called the French Laundry out in Napa. And cooking at that level just takes a toll on it took a toll on my overall health. I was the lightest I've ever been. I dropped like 10 to 15 pounds instantly because you're on your toes all day in a high pressure environment. I was weak mentally, and that wasn't sustainable at the time. So I decided to just take a break from cooking.
Wow.
Yeah. So during that time, I moved back home with my parents. They were based in Reno, Nevada, close to Lake Tahoe, and did nails. So I'm a licensed nail tech.
No way.
Dang, he got the Vietnamese checklist.
Dang.
Right? It's like check.
How you not married already? You go like,
Seriously.
Yeah. So
he
rapper,
cooks, does
nail
nails.
technician. Yeah. So that's something that my audience doesn't know, and something that I'll share later on is that I also do nails, and I'm a licensed nail tech. But during that time of 2017 doing nails, I took an interest in photography and videography. Just want to pick it up as a hobby, and also in case if I wanted to, switch career fields or anything. But I picked it up just to, take pictures of friends and family for holidays. But yeah, so during that time, I was teaching myself how to make videos and how to take pictures from 2017 all the way to 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 2019, damn, I'll just jump right into it. So 2019, my sister passed away in a fatal car accident on her way to Big Bear. No. And that for me was kind of like a wake-up call. Yeah, I mean, like, during that time, I was already, like, just depressed that, like, from 2017 to 2019, I was just, like, in this weird headspace that, here I am chasing my culinary career. I got to such a high level of cooking, and then I basically kind of threw in the towel, because I decided to step away and take a break for a little bit. And then 2019 happened. I was like, fuck, man, like, life is so short. Like, why do I gotta question my career, and like why be sad when my sister didn't get to live out her life, because she passed away at the age of 22.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like she had her whole life ahead of her. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna get back into the kitchen, So I applied to another 3 Michelin star restaurant out in San Francisco called Benu, and got accepted. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but to be able to land a job at a 3-star kitchen is like, it's almost not impossible, but it's pretty damn challenging because you're competing against people who wants to work from Korea, who wants to come from Europe or wherever, just to come to work at this kitchen. So yeah, so I got accepted. I got the job, but during the time they're like, Benu is so filled and we don't have any position available. Can we situate you at our sister restaurant during the meantime until something opens up? Like, sure, I'll take it because I've been out for so long, So I got the job, almost moved to San Francisco, 3 days. I got my apartment situated and everything, and then a couple of days later, I got an email saying, hey, the pandemic happened. Yeah, right? So it's like after this freaking break, break from my... so after the break, I was like, I'm so pumped to get into the kitchen, and I got back in. I actually, I was 3 days away from moving to San Francisco. Yeah, and I got this email saying, hey, due to the unforeseen future, we can't guarantee your spot here at Benu, so we wish you the best of luck, and, that was it. So yeah, so my headspace, I was already to damn, I want to get back into cooking, but everything is shut down. I'm living at home with my parents back in Reno, but now I have photography and videography skill, right?
Yeah.
And it took me a while until I decided to hop online because this was during the time that Instagram Reels came out. TikTok has been out for like a year or two. It was called like Musical.ly before, but during that time, everyone was, hey, you should do TikTok or whatever. I'm like, nah, it's for the kids. It's like, right? Like, I don't know if anybody else had that feeling, but like, you know, right. So, but there was a moment I was like, you know what, fuck it. I have these skills. Why not just do something with it? And then, because I just started seeing people sharing cooking videos and stuff on Reels. I'm like, I could do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I started making my own thing. And that's how I got into it, basically. Yeah.
Damn.
Dang.
Wow, that's a wild journey.
Yeah.
How?
Oh no, there's a couple of chapters before that's even crazier. That
What?
Yeah, like, because I mean, if I take you guys back to like the Bennu, like Bennu was like in San Francisco was like a freaking like it was supposed to be a comeback story because like if I hop, I don't know, a year before or a year and a half before that, Bennu was my first attempt at getting into the 3-star kitchen space. And this was like after Club 33, and like that's a whole story of its own. It's like chapters by chapter. Like, man, like the first time I attempted to get into Bennu, like to work, like I got accepted for a stage, but ended not being able to finish it because my housing situation fell through. I got scammed out of my room.
You were homeless.
I was homeless.
You were homeless.
Wait,
I
what?
remember you told me.
Not homeless, but like I couldn't afford a
He was
motel.
out on the street. We'll cook for food.
No.
Wait, so what happened?
No, so basically like this was okay, man, like we're skipping chapters here, but in that moment of the homeless story, quote unquote, like I wasn't technically homeless, but I just couldn't afford a hotel because back then I was very low on resources, and I moved my life from Reno to San Francisco like as a gamble. Like, man, I need to get this position at Bennu. Actually, no, like I need to move there and I need to make sure I earn a position from this stage. But I did not do enough research into my housing situation. But looking back now, it's like I basically got scammed out of a room. Like this guy who I rented from basically does this on a regular. So he would bring people in, you know, like to share a space with them. And this is like a 8x8 square space. And I'm renting out a bed for like $1,300. Jesus. Just a bed, bro.
San Francisco prices, man.
Yeah, right. And this was during the time, like I was just so desperate because my stage date is coming up. I haven't got myself situated with a living space, so I'll just take anything I get, you know. So I just said, forget it. Like let's just do it, you know. So basically, like there was a misunderstanding. Like he basically set up, because in order to access the building, you need a key fob, and someone always has to be home. But so he set it up in a way where I would move in, I come, and then he'll try to pick a fight or something, and then yeah. Anyways, like that day after I got home from my stage, he basically picked a fight with me, and like me being me, knowing like it could get worse, I kind of removed myself from the situation. Like I'm out. I called the police. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, hey, like he got in my face. Like imagine like this African flamboyant male just getting up. He was a couple years older than me, but me coming from Anaheim, like you know what I'm saying, like but like that's me, like because I've been in situations like that, and I don't want to go back to that mindset or go back to that side of me. I removed myself from the situation because it could have got bad, you know, because like here I am in this man's space, like I can't, you know. So I called the police, and you know they came and they said they can't do anything about it. It was just like it wasn't a physical altercation. Like he got like, well, I called the police because I'm trying to get them to like stay there so I could get my stuff, you know. Yeah. But at the end of the day, long story short, I basically just slept on the street in the park of Chinatown.
For how long?
Just for a night.
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah. No. It was like, it was one night, but like, I called my homies and they're like in SoCal. They're like, bro, like we'll come and we'll pick you up. Like, nah, like it's cool. Like I got this. Like it's nothing. And I thought about it and it was like 4 a.m., bro. And then I was like, you know what, fuck it. I can't do this. It's not sustainable. Like I try to stick it out, but I basically called my dad and that call was defeating as hell. I was like, hey dad, like, can you come and get me? Like from Reno
Shit.
to San Francisco is a 4-hour drive. So at 4 a.m., my dad and my little sister drove through. This was during winter time too.
Yeah.
So, and that drive during the winter is terrible because they're driving through snow and like through Tahoe and shit. And it's, yeah. So basically they came and they got me. I went and got my stuff from that guy. Went straight to Bennu, fucking bawling my eyes out. Like, fuck, like, I feel like a failure now because, like I've been wanting this stage for so long, you know? So I was like, I'm just crying, not crying, but like just trying to fight back tears in front of the chef. Like, hey, chef, like, this is what happened last night. My living situation fell through. I can't finish my stage. And then all he said was, we totally understand. Come back when you're ready. So that was my first Bennu story. So the 3 years late, like
it was the comeback story.
It was supposed to be the comeback story,
Yeah.
but it didn't really, you know. So that was that.
Damn, dude, that's
Yeah.
a lot of shit you've been through.
No, bro, like that's why like the other day I was just, well, actually not even the other day, like 2 nights ago when I was at Disneyland, like just watching the fireworks, I was just having a moment to myself. I'm like, fuck, man, like I'm so grateful to be in the position that I am now because to get here, like I took so many L's, but at the time they were L's, but looking back at it now, they were like blessing, like as corny as that might sound, but it's like
No.
there were lessons, you know, like, or blessings in disguise that, you know, yeah. So I'm fucking grateful.
How much does your sister's memory play into like everything you've done now? I know you said at the time it like really impacted you, and for me personally, like
Yeah.
I hate that it takes like a loss for you to like have a perspective because you see it in so many people's stories. Like they
Yeah.
lose someone they love, they lose someone important to them,
Yeah.
and it's the shift that they need, and like you know they bounce back, you know,
Yeah.
and it. For me, I'm like, damn, that sucks. Like now you're like, you know, happy, you're here, you're successful in this, and it's like, and she's not there,
Yeah.
you know. So
No, I mean, I mean, it's kind of tough to answer that one because it's like I still haven't healed from that. Like as much as I, you know, put up this mask of like, oh, I'm okay, I'm happy, but at the end of the day, like every year during her birthday and during her anniversary, her death anniversary, it's always hard because it's like, fuck, man, like I wish she was still around to like witness all this shit, you know. But yeah.
what about your parents? Like, how have they been able to heal
They-
or
Yeah, I mean, just like we were talking about earlier, it's like minority parents, you know, they're fucking strong. They're
Yeah.
like they kind of keep it to themselves, you know. Like I know it cuts them, but I can't speak for all parents, but for my parents at least, like they kind of, or they want to lead by example, because if they show that they're weak, it's gonna relay that energy onto me. So I mean, I have had moments like I've had like a breakdown in front of my mom, and I'm never emotional. Actually, I mean, when she whipped my ass, I'm probably crying. I can't say I'm never emotional,
Yeah.
but like I rarely have heart to hearts with my mom, right? So, but after my sister's passing, is like it's easier to have hearts to hearts with her. And I remember just one night, I'm just like, hey, like, how are you handling this? Because with my parents, I know they have like tremendous amount of traumas that they don't talk about, like because their journey alone is even crazier than mine, right? Like from refugee camp to being deported to constantly uproot their lives and start over again in new countries. It's like they have their own things. So it's like I asked my mom, like, oh, how are you dealing with, you know, Trang's death? My sister's name is Trang. And they basically just told me that, oh, it's like she's not to them. She's not dead, or she hasn't passed away, because they just kind of pretend that she moved away for school or somewhere like that, a long space. So that's how they're able to cope with.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So, and for me, like during the breakdown that I had was like what I said is like my mentality, or I just haven't been the same.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
like emotionally, I haven't been the same. Like I think about it every now and then, and it cuts deep, man. Like, yeah, like, and it sucks that that was what it took for me to, just like fuck it and level up. But that's what it is. And sometimes it's like you kind of sit and reflect, like, fuck, man. Like, yes, I have all of this, and I'm blessed with all this positive energy, but at the end of the day, because like people online every now and then, like they know, like they know the story, and then they're like, man, your sister would be very proud. Or when I see like mutual friends of ours that knows her because she was very involved in the community. Like recently, I bumped into someone that she knew as well, or that knew my sister as well, and like she just started bawling out of nowhere, bro. Like I was like, and this was like at like a community event too, and she was just started crying. I was like, damn, man, like I'm touched, but like damn, like because it cut it I don't know, like it just hit me, So it's like yeah.
I mean, it says something about your sister's impact that, years later, just someone used to remember her, or people that knew her still remember her. That's, shout out to her. Because I have a little sister, and you telling me this, like, I can feel it. Like, I can imagine, just like losing someone who, especially when you're the older person and you have, at least for me, I've always been like protective of my sister, and I care a lot about her, and just like the idea of like losing someone you're supposed to protect her. It's just it cuts deep, and I know you know the same feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even more harsh because it's a little sister and she was super young. I've fortunately still have my siblings, and but I've lost family members and people who are younger. And like I was mentioning, I have a cousin. She's like 25. That's going through it right now, and like it's. I don't even know what to say, because like in your case, it just kind of happened abruptly, right?
Yeah.
And in my case, it's like I'm seeing it,
Yeah.
transgress. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what's happening. But how do I even prep for it?
Yeah.
Because we talked about it with another guest, and when you see it coming, you could kind of envision what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So then you kind of prepare yourself for grief. And without that, it's like, man, when things happen, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Because we also had a very close friend. When he passed, he was 25, got into a car accident. Right, it was just like the most tragic story. It was like the day after his birthday, he has gotten his dream job. He had graduated from school.
Yeah.
Leaves his last day of work. Leaves car accident, and then, for me, like, the way I cope with it is I'm just like, I take him with me, I think we both do. And I think about very much like how your sister is with you. I'm just like, I want to live a more full life, because he would have if his life wasn't cut short.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to honor them is, I mean, everybody's different, but I think the best way to honor somebody who you lost is to, live out your life to the fullest. And I'm sure you guys have heard that before, but like it's for me at least, it's like I want to climb the highest mountain that I can so that I could, carry her name with me, So let's say if I were to open up an establishment, a restaurant one day, for sure her name will be on it.
Wow.
So it's like it's that's how you're gonna honor them. And back to what you were saying earlier, it's like it's just hard regardless if you see it coming or not, it cuts the deepest when it's abrupt and it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And for me, man, like I remember that day, like I mean I don't hate, but it just cuts so deep because I was the one who received the call. Yeah, so it's like, and I was the one who had to break the news to my mom and dad.
Fuck.
And like that day, it was intense because that morning her friends were already reaching out to us, saying like, "Oh, hey, have you seen Jennifer? She went to Big Bear with some guy. And we haven't heard from her since. So I started calling around, like, and then basically called the hospital. The hospital told me to call the sheriff's department, and yeah, they were like, "Oh no, we don't have her name on record, but we'll call you back if anything." So I did get that call back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and like, "Hey, is your sister's name this? When's her birthday? Blah blah blah." And then the sheriff was like, "We're so sorry to inform you, but." Yeah, like I crashed, and that was that abruptness. But I think what I learned from the whole from this experience is that, like, don't, and we kind of do on our day-to-day lives, is like we kind of take our time with our loved ones for granted.
Yeah.
I like we may like it does we don't value the time we have with each other, whether it's family or friends, until they're sick or until something. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of just yeah. So my message for everybody is, like, just kind of like, even now, like, I'm appreciative of now, like, this time of like bonding with you guys. It's like enjoy that time that you guys have each other. Or for example, when we were at the park recently for Amy's birthday, like, be in the moment. Like, we kind of like just so focus so much on work or whatever we're stressing about that it takes away from us being present. And then when something happens to that person, they're kind of like, fuck, man, I wish I was a little bit more present or a little bit more involved.
It's something that we've actually been learning from these episodes, the people we have on. It's surprising how many people have someone that they've lost in their lives.
Yeah.
And going through this, doing this, learning about someone new all the time. Like, I've talked about this before. Like, I hang out with my family every Sunday now. We hang out. We make intentional time to be together.
Yeah.
Because of so many people I've had on here who, like, I lost this person, I lost this other person, and I'm like, damn, like, just like you said, like, the day to day, like, you take it for granted, and it's like, oh, sometimes I'm like, hey, mom, okay, cool, I'm gonna go to do my own stuff, like, talk to girls, like, do this, and I'm like, and sometimes it'll hit me, sometimes it'll be like, hey, like, go hang out with your parents for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, go check out what your sister's doing. Like, spend some quality time.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to be, like, a lot more intentional about it. And, like, even if it's just, like, an hour on Sunday, we're hanging out together.
Yeah.
It's so much more than we were doing before.
Yeah.
And it's, like, creating this, like, bond, this routine where, like, every Sunday we go eat, take the dogs, go to a little hike.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit and stuff, rather than getting so stuck in the, like, hey, we got to work, make money, do this, do that. And it's been so fucking nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what that does is, like, you're creating memories.
Yeah.
Because whoever, like, knock on wood, but whoever passes away, it's those memories that carry on with you. It's those happy feelings that's going to help you heal and help you move forward.
I used to have like this like question in my wallet when I had one. It'd be like, oh, how do you want to be remembered? Show me a great man who is the son of a great man.
Yeah.
Also like the eulogy one too.
Yeah.
And it's like when I was younger, like it really pushed me to like, okay, how what is it that I want to do in my life? How do I be more intentional with my time? How do I stop being a slacker? Like, how do I get over these like random slumps of like, I don't know, being lazy, sad, all this stuff. And yeah, a lot of it is, it's like when at the end of your life, what are you going to be remembered for? Yeah. What great things will you have done? And like, how will the people that you care about, like, think about you and like remember you by? Yeah. And that's pushed me in certain directions too. Yeah. And I think it's made me a better person. Yeah.
And I mean, it's okay to have those slow days too. Yeah. Like you don't want to like always be on, but yeah, it's okay to have those slow days, because it's those slow days that's gonna like motivate you to.
I mean, sounds like obviously you did a lot for the community. That's how you want to be remembered. Is that one of what would you say would be 3 things you want to be remembered for?
Man, that's tough. I mean, as of now, I haven't done much for the community. I just basically go out to like community events a lot whenever there is one. But 3 things I want to be remembered by. Shit, I don't know, like. Fucking someone who fucking like crushed it in the food space and I don't know, represent the Vietnamese community really well, because being like I've had people in my DMs like, hey man, I just want to say like thank you so much, like you're doing a killer job of representing our people, and like it's so cool to see a Vietnamese face in the space, or so I guess that's another thing that I want to be remembered by. But also just somebody who is very giving. Yeah, and who has a big heart.
That's funny that you said that last one because before you said it, that's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah.
Is it because he just gave you a bottle?
I mean, he did give me a bottle for sure. That shows that he's giving for sure.
I think I like how you talked about like being a storyteller because when we did do your pop up shop, when like I went to it, like every course he would like tell this story and like give you a little bit of part of like how he came from, like I think it was like a refugee camp, like just growing up. I think you were in the Philippines or something. Yeah, you were in the Philippines and like learning to be there and like from a very young age and just like finding your identity as like someone who's like Vietnamese, how like the food represents who you are, not just who you are, but like your family too, like their struggles and how they came here. And it's very cool to see that different ways of people like showing their parents' stories through their chosen medium.
Yeah.
Because I try and do the same thing too. Yeah. In my own way. Like I always think about my parents' stories, and they've been through some shit. You know, like your parent, as like especially in war torn countries, like they go through some shit. And like I try and like the things that I create, the things that I make, like for business, like the way I work, I'm like, okay, I take my parents' stories and I use it to motivate myself.
Yeah.
I use that and like let it affect the world around me, trying to be a better person, trying to like, learn more. Just because like, damn, if my parents went through that shit, like I can answer these couple 10 emails right here today. I don't gotta all these text messages. I'm like, I can handle this. Like,
No, I mean that does help too, because on some day I'm like, man, my parents fucking survive like a fucking 7 days or 6 nights at sea on a small fishing boat. Like I could bang out this video real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, that shit is a huge motivator. I have like a side story that where I used that so much. It was this is like a dumb drunk night story, but a long time ago we used to drink this drink called the Galvatron. I don't know if you guys ever seen it.
No.
Yeah.
So
no, I have not.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, so it's like an old school video. I think it was like a Vietnamese dude who made it.
Yeah.
And he talks about this drink that his homies drink. And once you drink 3, like you're done. And then he shows a bunch of people in wheelchairs and losing their phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So a Galvatron is Patron. I think it's Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
And 151.
All equal parts? Or
all equal parts.
Okay.
Right? And then back then, it was like when you're younger, you're just like, let's see how fucked up I could get, right?
Yeah.
And then...
as opposed to how you are now.
Yeah, exactly. So different. I'm matured now. But we went out to go visit our friend Fearon in San Diego, and he's like a major binge drinker. Like he drinks once and he stops for like a whole month. But he loves it. Like when he goes, we call it chasing the dragon. He's always like trying to chase the dragon.
Yeah.
But we had this weird idea that we're like, oh, in the video, the cup is kind of more full than ours. I was like, maybe they do doubles.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Didn't think about it. I was like, all right, let's fucking do doubles. So it's like 6 shots, right? And the night before, I was like, oh, I had 6. I should be fine with 4. Didn't even think about the math is like completely off, right? So you think about 6 times 4, that's like 24.
Yeah.
24 shots. We drank that in like an hour. And then whatever weird reason, we were with a group of guys, and they're like, oh, let's go stargazing. I'm like, sure. So he takes us up to like the hills in San Diego, right? And then he's like, oh, you're supposed to go over here to go stargaze. And you look, it's just like a cliff. And it goes like that.
Yeah.
And I look, there's like a gate, and it says like wild animals, like please do not enter, right?
Yeah.
And back then I used to work for Edison. Oh, so I was 21. So I used to work for Edison. I was a meter reader. I'd go house to house and like read the meters. And at this point, like all of us are really drunk, except for my brother. My brother's the only person who's not drunk. He doesn't drink.
Yeah.
We hop over the fence, and you can imagine like drunk dudes like climbing this fucking fence, like falling over.
At
and shit.
21-year-old.
At 21, right? We go, and then we look over, and there's the cliff, and it's just like it goes straight down. My brother's like, hey, we should get the hell out. This is not a good idea. You can stargaze on the opposite side of the gate,
Yeah.
So my brother carries me back first. I'm like stumbling. And then he puts me at the fence. He's like, stay here. Yeah. Don't go anywhere. You don't tell a drunk person to stay here. It never works. It never works, right? So he goes back to grab everyone. And then he looks back and he sees me just like climbing the fence already. Yeah. And then next thing he's like, oh, he's just probably going back to the car. It's fine. We all get back to the other side. They get back to the car and they're like, Peter's not here. Like, what the fuck, right? And at this point, I blacked out and then I browned back in. Yeah. And I remember we're on the side of a hill. I remember being in this big bush that's like this tall and up the hill. And I'm in the middle of it. I'm in the middle of this bush. I don't know how the fuck I got there, right? And then I tried to move, and the branches break, and it's like stabbing me. It's like stabbing me everywhere. And I'm like, what the? Where the fuck am I? And I lay there, and I remember like looking up at the moon, and there was like a bunch of crows, and I was like, this is it. Like I'm done for. You know, like I'm gonna die here. And then I just thought about my dad and his immigrant grit, and him going to work every day, and him like getting injured, and he'll be like, no, I'm not going to the hospital. I'll just like put a Band-Aid on it. Shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck that shit. If my dad could do this shit, this is fucking nothing. So I flip my whole body around, and I climb up this bush. I'm like, fuck this shit, fuck. And then I'm getting stabbed in the face, and then I black out again.
Oh my god!
Yeah, right.
I wish like that was in a movie scene where like you're overreacting, but really it's just like some
It's a tiny little bush.
Yeah.
He's just like,
See, I wish we had recorded, but we couldn't.
Yeah.
And
I was like, where are you going with this?
In his head, it was like a huge bush, but it was like a little tumbleweed.
actually, not even a bush. It's just like a branch. But then it's funny because how they found me was because my brother heard my voice from all that screaming.
Yeah.
And he was like, what the fuck? How the hell did he get over there?
Yeah.
He was looking at the bush. He was like, there's no fucking way. So they just follow my voice up the hill. And then next thing they look over, there's like a house with like a fence. They look over, I'm like on the opposite side of the house in someone's backyard.
Oh, shit.
I'm just like sprawled out. And then my buddy Dewey's like, hey, Peter, get the fuck out of the person's house. And I get back up and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I run to the back door and I start pounding on the back door. I'm like, open your door. I'm from Edison. I'm here to read your meter.
Oh my.
I think I'm fucking working.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. And then my buddies, one of my buddies, Glover, he hears like this party. So he goes to his house because he thinks I might be there.
Yeah.
Because we're like, they're all spread out.
Yeah.
He goes to his house and he's like asking for me, and they're like, no. And then like these girls like sat him down and he started making out with some random chick. It was just fucking bunch of shit happening, right? So finally, my buddy dude grabs me and he like pulls me out of the house. This old couple comes out and they're like, what the hell is going on? It's like 1 a.m., It's so you can imagine, like just fucking crazy ass shit, right? And we go back the next day, like I just wake up and I feel fine. I feel normal. I go to like the restroom and I look at myself, I'm like, whoa, my face is completely like scratched up. I had scratches all over my arms. I was like, what the fuck happened last night? And everyone just came out and they're like, dude.
Thorny ass tumbleweed, bro.
Dude.
It's a good thing you don't drink like that anymore.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God. I just fall asleep now. My energy levels are hella low.
Yeah, I'm Galvatron.
You said you don't drink, right?
Not much. Only in Vegas when I know I'm gonna, have a good or not have a good time, but like really turn up. Quote unquote.
Is there a specific reason for that, or?
I mean, one, because I think I don't have that enzyme that digests alcohol. So for Asians, you get red as hell. But for me, it's like my body overheat because my body runs hot. So I like just heat up and just get like super red. And
oh man, you and Henry must have vibed in Vietnam,
bro. Oh yeah. Oh no, Vietnam. We were vibing. Like that's where I met P Ashley. Like we met. I think I was at Bam Bam, which is like such a fun like Bam Bam Club. Yeah. You've been right? Yeah. We were definitely drinking. We were out till like I don't know 2-3 a.m.
I was like, Jesus Christ, these guys are lasting forever.
It's crazy that night. So like we got a table. P and then a couple of other homies were there as well. Myself and Henry were just vibing. There's this group of Vietnamese girls, like they're very hip, like
I remember what you're talking about. I remember exactly which.
Were you like, hey M?
No, so the whole night. Oh, and my friends were there too, who I brought from the States. Like I was showing them around Vietnam. They were there as well. But like next to us, the table next to us was this group of like girls. And the whole night, like they were just in their own world. We were in our own world. But when Pete and everybody took off, it was just me and Henry, like because we just want to hang out a little bit more. And then all of a sudden, they started making their moves on Henry, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're such a good dancer!" Like, because Henry was Henry being Henry, like, "Oh, this is my friend. He cooks." Blah, blah.
Wow.
So they started You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good time. But yeah, that
Yeah,
was
I remember seeing that. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, what happened after we left?
No, like a lot happened after you left. Actually,
I saw Henry told me.
The whole time while you guys were there, like they didn't even do, because I think they were intimidated by like such a big group of like probably foreigners as well.
Yeah.
But like once everybody left, it was just me and Henry. Like
So
yeah.
on that note, actually, like how has like you becoming, let's say, more of a, social media influencer, you built
Yeah.
up an audience and stuff. How has that affected your dating life?
It's tough, man.
yes, sir.
No, like you would think like, oh, like he has a following, like people would think I'll probably have a roster or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think.
Yeah, like during backtrack. So prior to me having a platform, I was already dating somebody for a year. I think a year and a half, 2 years or whatever. And then we broke up sometime last year. And then like you would think like it'll be easier as a content creator, whatever, because of your status, but it's not, because for me, I don't want to, be in somebody's DMs or just because nowadays people screenshot or whatever, and if you do anything stupid, it gets leaked out, and then I'm very protective of my platform because it took so much for me to get here. It's like I can't just let a little incident slip up and then boom, I'm canceled. So to answer your question, it's not easier; it's freaking harder. Because it's like now you have to pick and choose who you come in contact with, because you just never know if you do something to offend the wrong person, and now she's out here, like
See the dick pic that David sent me?
yeah, no.
He put it on a pan and throw it.
But it affected it, but then again, I wasn't looking for a relationship, but somehow I ended up in a relationship.
Oh, now?
Really?
Now, recently,
you are?
yeah.
Recently?
Yeah, like that's the thing, right? It's like I freaking thought, I was like, oh, freaking, I'm gonna be single this year.
Yeah, I thought you would.
I'm gonna go to what was it, Coachella? I'm gonna go to EDC.
Yeah.
Hot Boy Summer.
I see your gym stories. He getting ready.
Hitting the gym. Yeah, but no, but then that's the thing, right? It's like when you aren't looking for a relationship, and the relationship that I'm in now, it just happened very organically, and then it just happened.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how it happened. It just happened.
Really?
But yeah, now that I'm here, it's like shit. Like I didn't go to Coachella. I didn't go to EDC.
No hot boy summer?
No, I'm gonna have a hot boy summer, but just with a girlfriend. No, I don't know how you guys define hot boy summer, but you could. And there's a couple of I'm gonna still I'm gonna be looking good.
Now it's for yourself.
I'm still eager. No, for my girlfriend. For her as well. But yeah. Just not the other hot boy summer.
Not the fuck boy summer. It's funny that you say that, because I always have a similar experience where I'm just like not looking for a relationship, and it just kind of happens.
That has never happened to me.
This is the first time.
This is the first time that I wasn't actively looking for a relationship. Like I was just my headspace moving from Reno back to OC, and I moved back in December of last year. My headspace, I like now that I'm here, it's my homecoming. 1, 2, like I'm trying to really level up, because before, when I was building my platform, I was in Reno, Nevada, but now it's like, okay, everything happens here in LA and Orange County, like all the events, all the networking. So I'm moving home to level myself up.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the process of it, but also now I'm in the process of it with a girlfriend who's...
Wow.
Yeah.
What differences are there now that you have a platform in comparison to the old David, where you didn't have that platform and you were dating, but now you do have this, and it's not like it's like, oh, I have a platform. It's important. This is your livelihood. This is your business. This is how, you are making your mark in the world.
Yeah.
It is an important thing to consider, when you are dating. How does that affect your dating life now?
It's crazy that you asked that, because I recently asked my girlfriend this the other day, because she was verbal about her political views or just whatever stance she has. So I'm very careful of that, because let's say that I have a certain belief or whatever, feel a certain type of way about a topic, I want to be with somebody who is careful with how they carry themselves in public, because whatever they do affects me.
You. Yeah.
Yeah, like let's say my girlfriend gets canceled or whatever. Who the hell is she dating? She's dating me. So I you know, at the end of the day, it affects me. So
eyes on you.
Yeah. So with my partner, I'm very I have to pick and choose in terms of having a platform now, because whatever happens to her, I'm also affected.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you see with celebrities all the time, where it's like the person gets canceled, dating someone else, and they kind of just batch them together, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a couple.
Yeah. So it's like, it's basically like now you're a team, basically. Yeah. So, that's the only thing I look for. I mean, and other than that, it's like, are we able to like communicate? Are we able to bond? And
Do you feel like there's a difference that this one occurred naturally versus the other ones? Is this one somewhat more special?
Or did you sneak in your DMs?
I joke around. I mean, like, I tell her that she snuck into my DMs, but I mean, I kind of started the convo. We met through our talent manager. So we share a talent manager.
Oh, okay.
She's also another creator and actress. But it just kind of happened very organically. We met in May of last year.
Oh, I was like,
at a brand event.
You mean last month?
No. Yeah, right. No, so we met last year at a brand event. Didn't think anything of it. Our manager, it was at a brand event, screening for AAPI month or something. And then our manager at the time was like, hey, one of our other clients coming. I went by myself. She brought her mom, and my talent manager said, hey, one of our other clients coming, you guys should connect, you know, like, so that, because I won't be alone or whatever. Actually, no, my brother went with me, but they basically say, hey, you guys should connect. And then we connected then, like, we introduced each other or ourselves, and that was it. Like, we didn't think anything of it, but her mom.
I knew I was gonna ask.
Really? She told me this recently, but her mom was like, when her mom met me, she didn't even know that about my platform. She didn't know that I cooked or whatever. But her mom, at the end of the night in the car, made a comment saying, oh, whoever is going to end up with them is going to be very lucky.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, because she's like a vibe reader. You know how moms are, you know, like they read vibes and all that stuff. So that's what she said. And that's what my girlfriend told me recently. Like, aha.
Damn. And the mom was like,
so
just like I planned it.
The mom was scheming the whole time. You know?
She's playing matchmaker.
Grandkids, here we come.
All right. No, I mean, I joke around about it. But just recently, I think I first made contact in February. Like, I just commented on Valentine's Day. I think she bought flowers. She made a post saying like, oh, like, here's a sign to buy yourself flowers, you know, self-love and all that stuff. And it was on Valentine's Day. And for me, Valentine's Day, I was sitting alone at a freaking, what taco shop was this? This is Tacos Los Cholos.
Well, why'd you tell? You should have told me.
Right? By myself, freaking making out with a chamoy rim cup. Like, everybody else is all coupled up. You know, like, I was just eating tacos by myself. I saw that post. I was like, bet. You know, because she said, like, buy flowers for yourself. Or, all I said was, like, okay, or something like that. You know, like, just... So, it wasn't, like, slid into the DMs, like, oh, hey, trying to grab lunch or whatever. It was just, like... Yeah, but ever since then, like, we just started, like, talking, and then... Yeah, took her on a date, and then it just somehow, like, till this day, we're like, how the hell did we get here? Because she wanted to be single. Yeah. I wanted to be single. And now here we are.
I love that for you, man. You look really happy.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, you look really happy. The way you talk about it, it's very, very positive, very vibey energy.
Yeah, it's funny because I was about to say, like, you don't feel like you're single. And then do
you give off single vibes if you're single?
I think some people do, definitely.
Really? Oh,
you know what
I mean,
like,
yes. Yeah. The guys who are really single.
Yeah. The other hot boy summer.
It's like, what are you trying to do?
Oh, yo, what's up,
what are you craving, shawty?
Yeah. I just felt like you feel... Because when I met you in Vietnam, obviously we were partying. You know what I mean? Like,
He was trying to say
I'll
you were
just say-
giving single vibes.
hey, I'm just saying.
I caught you staring at the table next to us the whole time.
We were on the same wavelength. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
We was Mario. We was
meeting, first meeting. Like, oh yeah.
I thought what happens in Vietnam stays in Vietnam.
Come on,
Y'all
I'm
got
not saying
swarmed.
it's like a bad thing.
Y'all got swarmed by a whole bunch of Vietnamese girls after you left.
No,
Like,
he was like, "Hey, Henry, make a move. Help our brother out."
you know what I love? That Henry is always the guy who gets the most attention.
Henry is like
Put in context, Henry's gay, which is the funny part.
Henry loves dick.
But he's the one who gets all the girls.
Yeah.
That's how he does it.
It's happened multiple.
It's
I've
the dance
seen
moves,
it.
yeah.
It's the dance moves. It's he's like thick and tattoos. Like, you know, he got that demeanor.
Yeah.
Like,
whoa, chill, like that.
oh my bad, I'm getting
Someone's getting hot and bothered right now.
Is there something you need to tell us right now?
He's been in Vietnam for like 5 months, so I just really miss him.
I get it, but damn,
Oh my god, am I getting single vibes?
it's
Definitely
giving.
single vibes.
It's giving.
Maybe some flamboyant
It's the
rainbow
hair now,
vibes
it's the
too.
hair.
Yeah, dude. But you know what? That's funny because I know it usually does happen to my gay friends who don't seem gay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Hector used to happen to him all the time.
Hector seems super gay.
I mean, I think when you first initially meet him, you don't get that until you notice that he's always like looking at other dudes. And then you're like, okay, yeah, he might be gay. You know? But like Henry almost never talks about other
He's not.
guys.
Yeah, he's not flamboyant. In
Yeah,
this.
he's not like, oh man, that dude's ass. Did you see that? Like, no, you never hear that from Henry.
Yeah.
Like he actually does it in secret a lot. You know what I mean? He's very quiet about it. But I think that also allows women to feel more comfortable at the same time not understand that they're gay yet, you know? And then eventually they're like, oh, I'm gay. It comes out and they're like, oh, really? I would have never guessed it. So I think that's like that combination where their mannerisms are more masculine and not flamboyant, but at the same time they're confident because like they're not here to hit on these women. So they feel comfortable.
Because
usually
Peter,
when,
you know, he
you know,
was.
us in Vietnam, bro.
Can we clip this right here? Can we just to David like this?
It's like, bro, it's humid out here. It's not even cold, bro. Like he's just rubbing his hands together the whole time.
That was dope because I connected with everyone that night.
Yeah.
You had like one of the homies was a videographer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's super cool. We are all just chilling in a group. In Vietnam, if you haven't been, I definitely think everyone should experience Vietnam.
Yeah.
And you know, I was gonna talk to you about this too because I do love that you represent the Vietnamese community very, very well on a different level too. You know what I mean? Like we're not like the nerdy school kids and shit like that, which is dope. And you know, like for me, I feel like we've been underrepresented for a long ass time. So when I hear about us, I get very, very happy, like very, very proud. You know, like for me, one of the biggest people to do it was Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He spoke about Vietnam very highly. And dude, like people started flocking over there, kind of getting part of the experience, the culture.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I was like, okay, you know, who else is going to be doing that though?
Yeah.
And then obviously met you,
Yeah.
saw your stuff. And it's funny that you say, you know, you're a storyteller because that's something that I felt, because I saw your video prior to meeting you.
Yeah.
Because Henry's like, oh, we're going to meet with my friend. This is his page.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, his stuff's like really, really dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I do video and photos too.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, I was like, that's tight. But then you were also a chef.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so interesting. And then to see you do that and represent like Vietnamese people, I was like, damn, okay, he's doing a good ass job. Because some people have to ask their shit. You know what I mean? Like you might be a good chef, but your content might suck. You know what I mean? And to see you do it like well on all the aspects out there, I was like, okay. That's dope.
Yeah.
He's gonna keep it pushing for the Vietnamese people.
I mean, on that note, I just want to say thank you because, and I feel like the things I've done aren't where I want to be yet in terms of what I want to do for the community. And on the note of Anthony Bourdain is like nowadays you have so many people in Vietnam filming content about Vietnam, but not a single person is Vietnamese.
Yes, I was about to say that.
They're all Caucasians, Caucasians or
Mi Chang.
Mi Chang from the States or wherever flocking to Vietnam because that's what, you know, it's for the views or whatever, but we don't have a single Vietnamese face speaking about our culture. And I think that's the path that I'm eventually gonna go down is, you know, I want to do or share more of our story, our culture, our food, and speak and share through a Vietnamese lens, or a Vietnamese American lens, who had this growing up experience abroad, but now I'm coming home to basically experience and relearn my culture and share that on the world stage. And yeah, I mean, it's a project in the work, but yeah.
So what you're saying is we're all going to Vietnam?
Hey, if I see him doing that, I'm gonna be like, yo. So I want to kind of touch base on Vietnam a little bit more because for me, I really, no bias, I think Vietnamese food is like one of the best cuisines out there.
Yeah.
By far, right? And one of the best ways to get people to experience your culture is through food.
Yeah.
And I think we're finally getting that. And you know how you say like your next level is to kind of still tell the story of the people and the culture, because now it's like you built a platform where you introduce people to our food.
Yeah.
And
still
then
introducing.
Still introducing. And then eventually you're going to get to the culture part, and they're going to learn more about us and what we do, because I feel like people don't really understand like Vietnam. You know what I mean? Like, like for instance, I feel like I understand Filipinos very well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like their culture and the way they function is kind of widely broadcasted almost, right? You think about Filipinos, what do you think about? You
singing, dancing, lumpia.
Dancing, lumpia, Jollibees. You know what I mean? Like there's already an idea. When you talk about Vietnamese people, like what do you think about?
What do I think about Vietnamese people?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of food?
No, just in general. You know, now we're talking about culture.
Coffee shops, ABBs,
kind of coffee
ABGs, eyelashes.
Mario knows too much.
I was talking about the Vietnamese coffee.
Yeah, and you're a person who's friends with a lot of Vietnamese people. And still, and you've been to Vietnam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I still feel like it's still underrepresented and people still don't quite have the idea of what we're about yet. You know? I like going back to like Filipino people, like, I feel like they know what they're about. They're like very family oriented, right? The kind of food they eat, I understand that, right? Typically like on the heavier side, right? Islanders, very talented, right? Like singers, dancers, musicians, and stuff like that. And like in general, also like a big household, right? You think about Filipino families, it's like 20 of them, right? And like it's the get-togethers are like huge. But for Vietnamese people, because I only recently started going back to Vietnam when I was 25.
Yeah.
So I wasn't born here. I was born in Malaysia. But I went back to Vietnam one time when I was 5, and then I never went back until I was 25. So 20 years later.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but since then, I've been going back every year except for when the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And I felt like I really reconnected with my roots.
Yeah.
It was weird because the only Vietnamese people I know are American Vietnamese people.
Yeah.
Or like the older heads out here.
Yeah.
But to see like the locals in Vietnam, it was so weird because they were saying some shit that I would say.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what's going on? So I have this thing where if I drink with my buddies, I love to give them a cheers.
Yeah.
I'll do it like every sip. So people think it's like a little bit too much,
Yeah.
Went to Vietnam, everyone was doing that.
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
it's a normal thing.
It's normal.
It's normalized.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
What's weird is like, I'm like, how did I get that? Being
It's just ingrained in your
the
DNA,
bloodline.
No, can't stop.
He's just holding him out.
I'm like trying to fight
Peter,
it.
we told you no.
I can't, bro. I can't.
Yo, you just gotta do it. Like over there, it's like it was so many different things where I was like, I saw myself in these strangers.
Yeah.
Like they're not even family. Just like people.
They're
on the
all
streets.
squatting in the streets.
Yeah, exactly. Squatting in the streets.
We actually had to force Peter to stay here, else we just start squatting.
Yeah, right? Just
no.
I'm like fighting it.
just like shaking and trying to squat.
Like for me, one of the things was that I'm one of those guys. I think a lot of us do this, but I feel like Vietnamese people more so than anyone.
Yeah.
Is that we love to make only one trip when we're grabbing shit from our car.
No, no, we do that too.
I think
No, I'm not saying you other people don't do it. I'm saying Vietnamese people do it a lot. And when I went back to Vietnam, like if you ever see people on fucking like motorcycles and shit like that, they fucking have like everything on that motorcycle. You're like, how the fuck?
Their whole
these
mobile
people-
home.
Yeah. Like how are you riding around with like 5 boxes in the back, like a bowl of pho on the left hand, you know what I mean? Some chopsticks on the right hand. Like how the hell are you doing this? Like they just want to make one trip. But it makes a lot of sense because back then in Vietnam, like there wasn't a lot of transportation. Like my pops, when he told me he had to work on homes, because that's how he actually met my mom. He like traveled to her house in the countryside, and he walked there. It was like a 2 hour or something walk.
Yeah. He built
They
her
didn't have no
He,
DMs
did
back in the
roofing.
days. You know what I'm saying? He was like, oh shoot, I got to ride my bicycle 3 hours.
Yeah, dude. That's why I was just like, oh shit. Like I love traveling. I love to like go far distances. People know me as a guy who like loves to walk, you know? And I kind of see that in like the Vietnamese people. Yeah. But yeah, that's funny because like he said he would be carrying a bunch of shit because he couldn't make another trip back.
And flowers for your mom.
And flowers. Their story is fucking hilarious because my mom was the one who hit on my dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is
Sounds
funny.
like my girlfriend. She slid in my DMs.
Damn, like that.
No,
Your girl's like, yeah.
she's going to watch this right now. Like, he's capping.
Oh, yeah.
So my mom
And
told me.
she's also a content creator, so she has her own side of the story.
Oh, is she Vietnamese?
She's actually Burmese.
Oh, Burmese.
Yeah, from Myanmar. I never in a million years. I'm like, yeah, it was new and interesting.
Dude, how's that like culturally? Because I don't think I know a single Burmese person.
Right, because it's like their political. It's just so much going on in Myanmar that it doesn't get broadcasted. That's why you don't know too much about Burmese food. I didn't know much about Burmese food until I started dating her. You know, we started watching stuff on YouTube. Like, damn, like all this existed. Like, oh, we got that in Vietnam too. Oh, we got that. You know, a lot of chickpea in their dishes. I don't know. It was a fun fact, but no, it's very interesting. It's like it's cool because I'm able to take her out to like we share almost the same flavor profiles in terms of cuisines. So I'm able to take her out to get pho or take her out to get dim sum or whatever. She's still cool with it. Or take her out to get Vietnamese udon, bánh căn. And she's able to eat it because it's similar. It's still like Southeast Asian flavors. So that's like the commonality. But other than that, it's just a normal dating experience, I guess.
How important is someone's flavor profile for you when you're dating?
Very important. Jeez, imagine if like, oh, babe, I'm making pho tonight. I'm like, what is pho?
Have you dated anyone before with like, you know, like, oh no, I don't like Asian food or anything like?
Well, we wouldn't even get to a second date if you know what I'm saying. If
so that hasn't happened to you at all.
Those are the questions I ask on first date. Is what are your favorite cuisines? What foods do you like? What foods can you like? Right? It's like
pizza.
Yeah, potatoes or like But those are the questions I get out of the way, and then I kind of determine that, and then everything else after.
So do you never run into that? No
Never,
weird experience.
Yeah. Fortunately, knock on wood. Damn. But
So being that you guys agree on food, does she decide on food when you guys pick a place to eat, or is she indecisive?
When we're in OC, she's based in LA, so when we're in OC, I decide, and I kind of every now and then, of course, doing the boyfriend things like, oh, what do you want to eat?
That's why I asked. That's why I asked.
Please have an answer.
Is that ever? What do you want me to make you?
Well, that's the crazy thing. I rarely cook at home now. Now that I'm in this space and doing this for work.
That's so funny.
Because it's such a process to cook and film that it's funny because I did talk to her about this today. Is because I don't know when she's coming down. Right, our schedule is just so like sporadic and like not stable that because there's always an event, there's always something we got to be at. For example, today the podcast that was.
You should have brought her.
Yeah, right. No, she's at another event. You know, so it's like I don't know our schedule, so I don't know what to make. Also, I don't know what to stock my fridge, and I'm in an apartment where I can't fill up my fridge because if I fill up my fridge, I can't make X recipe on Tuesday, or like I can't follow my content calendar. You know, so I can't cook at home unless it's like, okay, we know we're gonna see each other on Saturday. She knows she wants to eat I don't know, steak or pan roast or a salad. Then I'm gonna stock my, you know what I'm saying, like then I'll stock my fridge for that. But other than that, it's like I'm not gonna go to the grocery store, buy all the ingredients and then have extra of that, and then so that's the dilemma. But when she's down here, I pick the location when or when she's here, she's down here. I pick the location of where we eat, and then when I'm in LA, she picks. So
I had Burmese food for the first time.
oh snap! There you go.
3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now it's like whenever I see a like Burmese restaurant, I'm like, okay, I'm down to like try it. Yeah. There's like a bunch in like San Francisco.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I went to this place called like Burma Star or something like that.
Sounds
legit.
like a Burmese restaurant.
Yeah. There's one in Anaheim. It's really legit too. But I'm just like that person. Like I just like trying any kind of cuisine. You know, like oh, let me try it. Like what is this about?
Yeah.
The only thing is that we live in Cali. Our food's great, right? But sometimes certain cuisines, it's like, are they underrepresented? Like for instance, out here in OC, Vietnamese food is fucking great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Mexican food is fucking great.
Yes.
Right?
Facts.
But then
Korean food. Don't forget the Korean food.
Also Korean food too. Amazing. But I wasn't sure at that time if
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we got hella good food.
Every
Thai
time you
food,
say-
we got hella good food.
Yeah, we better name other. Hey, they didn't mention
for the food.
what other South Cambodians, Laos.
No, yeah, you're right. Cambodian Laos food out here is fire too.
So every time you start talking, don't forget this one, Peter.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I just went to a Laos restaurant for the first time.
What's it called?
Recently, Knox.
Oh, that one's good.
We don't know. What's Knox?
Knox Kitchen?
I'm just kidding. I love Knox.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how can you not know? Yeah, it was fire. Remember we went together
That one
actually.
was solid.
Yeah,
What'd you guys get?
Fuck everything. We got a combo.
Yeah,
we
the
got
combo
like,
with everything. I don't
got
know
the
what it's called.
ribs.
Very specific answer.
Yeah.
Thanks.
yeah, we got like the ribs.
We got the combo with everything. It was
fried
spicy.
chicken.
There
we
was
got
some
spicy.
spicy salad.
Did you get no? Let's get specific. Did you guys get the sausage?
Yes.
You had to get the
sausage was the
right?
best one.
So yeah, so with Knox, I'm a big supporter of Knox. Knox, she's great. Yeah, like her sausage, man, is different because some other places they'll fry up their sausage and it'll be dry, but her sausage specifically is great because she's gonna eventually package it. So yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
And her udon, her cowpeat.
You know, talking about like all like the cultures, like, you know, Vietnamese, all this. Like, I wanted to ask you, what is House of Nguyen about?
Oh, House of Nguyen. House of Nguyen is basically my media company. You know, just being in business, you need a EIN. So, but basically, and the logo that I chose is just something that represents heritage. But the House of Nguyen, man, like the Nguyen dynasty was like the last of the dynasty in Vietnam. Like, and they had, I don't know how long their reign was, but I don't know, just want to bring it back to what it was like in that days of having a family legacy. But, you know, like, I don't know, I think it was like inspired from
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I
saw it. No.
Yeah, House of X or House of whatever. So I was like, okay, yeah. Like,
No,
let's throw my last name in there.
I saw that and I was like, okay, like
Yeah.
I feel like it's a step in what you've been talking about,
Yeah.
how it's like not only just part of your storytelling, but also part of like you bringing more of the Vietnamese culture on the map, you know, being involved in the community, all that. So what falls under House of Nguyen? Like, I know it's like your media company, but what is it? What does it encompass?
I think for the umbrella, and this is like nothing's in the works yet, but basically the media company for myself, but eventually it'll be House of Nguyen Foods, and eventually it'll be the restaurant. But yeah, it's just there's a lot on the way that I'd rather not talk about it.
Oh,
and
okay,
just
yeah.
let it show.
Yeah.
Like just let it.
Okay, just give us the teaser there so people are ready.
Yeah, so CPG, like I have chili oil, satay sauce, Vietnamese satay sauce, which is like the Vietnamese lemongrass chili oil. That's under for CPG. And CPG for everybody at home is like commercial packaged goods. Like everything for the shelves, right? Maybe like a shaken beef marinade for people to have it ready to go.
Nice.
I'm big into like vacation Cajun boils, crawfish
Yeah.
boils. So
I saw that video.
I saw it too. It was good.
yeah, so imagine if you could just buy a pre-packaged mix that you could just throw or to make the sauce. You know?
Oh,
and
you
then,
know what?
Yeah, just real quick, you know, like you just add a couple of ingredients and you have the Cajun sauce, and then
Ooh,
because
okay.
everybody wants to boil at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like I get so many questions. Everybody has, and every family is different, you know. But it's like the Cajun boil is very unique to where it's kind of hard to execute, like or to achieve the flavor. So imagine if you're just able to buy like a $10 package of seasoning and you just add a couple of cans of Coco Rico and shit. Yeah.
I was at a Vietnamese family party,
Yeah.
and I showed one of the uncles that did they did the whole Cajun bowl.
Yeah.
I think he imported from Louisiana or
Yeah.
something. And I was showing him your video. I'm like, oh look, yeah,
That's
he's doing.
my friend. That's my friend.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
Because he said he's telling me, oh yeah, it's different. The way you do it is different. I'm like, oh, and I remembered your video. I'm like, oh, you mean like this?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, but he didn't do this and this. And I'm like, and I didn't minimize it. So I'm like, this guy's a chef. I didn't tell him that. I was like, oh yeah. He's like, but he should do this. And I'm like, oh okay.
That's the thing with Asian families. I'm not sure if other families are like this, but everybody has. Well, actually, maybe other ethnicities as well. Like everybody and every family has a certain way they like to do things, and once they're used to doing it that way, that's their stand. Like they're very adamant of like this is how it should be done. But and that's a challenge being in the food space and posting recipes online is like, or you forgot to add this, because my grandma did this, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, that's your grandma. Like, my grandma did this. What's up? I was kidding.
Yeah, but that's very big in Vietnamese community though, because you think about Vietnamese people, especially like the poor ones, like, dude, we just ate whatever the fuck we had in the fridge, you know what I mean, or whatever we had in like the fucking shelves and stuff. So it's like everyone's recipes was different because you kind of put like a mix of things together. Yeah. But what's funny is like talking about the same topic of Vietnamese people staying like strict to the way they make things and Cajun food. Yeah. So obviously the Viet Cajun style is more like a West Coast thing, right? Yeah. And I went to Louisiana and I was like trying their Cajun food. And I was like, I don't know. I kind of like ours better because of the sauce. And then I saw a video where they went out there and I think it was like David Chang or something like that. And he was like,
on Netflix.
Yeah. And he was like, how come you guys don't do the sauce like in the West Coast? Yeah. And they're like, this is our tradition. We just keep it this way. Yeah. And they asked, like, do you like it better? Like, I was like, yeah, it's way better. And they're like, but you don't want to change it to make yours better? I'm like, no, it's just tradition. We just keep it the same way.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about the food world is like people are just so stuck in their ways that it doesn't elevate the cuisine. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, that's not how my grandma did it or whatever. It's like, okay, if you think about Vietnamese cuisine, for example, is like it's the biggest fusion food.
I've always said that.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's like people say, oh, that's not authentic or that's not authentic Vietnamese. Like, well, what is authentic Vietnamese?
What is authentic
Right? Because Vietnamese cuisine was influenced by China. Mm-hmm. It was influenced by France because, like they occupied Vietnam for like such a long period of time that it affected the culture, right? And Vietnamese cuisine, everybody has different philosophies. Every chef have different philosophies of their own cuisine, right? But for me, my definition of Vietnamese cuisine is taking what you have and applying, or taking the best ingredients you have and applying certain cooking techniques to achieve this flavor. So Vietnamese cuisine has a certain flavor profile. So back in the days, how was pho created? Pho created was because there was an abundance of freaking beef bones that the French didn't use because they were eating steaks and stuff. And people back in the days when the French colonized Vietnam, they did not have the resource to afford beef, right? So they turned their influence from stock making, the French stock making, and made broth out of beef bones, and freaking they took their influence from Chinese of like noodles, of rice noodles, and combined it to make pho. So like Vietnamese cuisine is like just basically influence, taking the best ingredients you have and applying cooking techniques to achieve the Vietnamese flavor profile. With that being said, it's like, okay, now we're here in the States, right? A lot of the stuff you taste here is way different from Vietnam, right? Yeah. So when you go back to Vietnam, you're like, damn, some of the stuff in the States kind of tastes better because it's more
100%,
right? But then there is this certain flavor profile for Vietnam because that's the best that they could get over there.
That's exactly right.
But for us over here, we're able to get way better ingredients, way better products, and we're applying the same cooking techniques, right, to achieve like pho here is different from pho in District 5 in Saigon or whatever, right? And going back to your topic earlier of why the folks down in Louisiana want to stick to a certain way because it's quote unquote tradition. It's like that's like our culture isn't going to evolve if you're stuck in one headspace, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's like, Cajun is here and it's a part of our culture now. It's like
it is,
because Vietnamese fishermen in New Orleans Vietnamese fishermen in New Orleans took the best ingredients that they had, applying their knowledge. So what was the best ingredients that they had or the influence that was put on them, which is crawfish, and applying their knowledge and their flavor profile. And then that's how Viet Cajun was born. And then it slowly trickled into Houston, got popularized in Houston, and then it made its way to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Right? And my first encounter with Viet Cajun was at the Bowling Crab.
Yeah.
The first Viet Cajun, actually, no, I wouldn't say it was the first, maybe Crawfish House on Brookhurst and Westminster. Maybe I don't know which came first, but my first encounter was at Bowling Crab.
Same.
Oh, no, mine was this place on, I think it was also on Brookhurst, but it was called Cajun Corner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I think Cajun Corner came after Bowling Crab.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah, because I remember at the time, man, I was in like freaking high school, just going in and looking at a pound of crawfish, like, damn, freaking like $13 for a pound. Right. Can I get a half pound?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's crazy because like most of the foods that I specialize now is foods that I couldn't afford back in the days. Yeah, like house special lobster, like damn lobster back in the days. Like we only ate that during birthdays.
Yeah, family gatherings.
Yeah, like family gatherings, weddings. I'm sure you've experienced that being to Asian weddings. Like the crawfish boil, man, like I just remember I couldn't afford that. That's why, like, damn, I'm gonna make sure I know how to make this shit. So,
God, you just made me so hungry.
Yeah. I remember, you know what's crazy? So I used to work at Kick and Crab, right?
Yeah.
And then my homies who all own restaurants, they're like, hey, can you get me the sauce? Like, can you help me make it? What's the secret?
No, trust me. Everybody wants it.
Yeah, everyone wants that specific sauce. Like, for me, I'm no bias either. I think King Crab is better sauce-wise than Bowling Crab.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is the owner only has a couple people who know how to make it.
Yeah.
Not even like
Bowling Crab, they're secretive about their sauce.
Are they the same thing too?
Well, I only know this because I know somebody who came from the kitchen and... word on the street, don't quote me on this, is that they don't even label what kind of seasoning. It's just by numbers.
Yeah.
Or put step 2 with step 3 and like a cup of step 4, like just stuff like that.
You know what's crazy? King Crab, it used to be like this. I don't know how it is anymore, but the owners would bring a big bucket of the seasonings.
Yeah.
And then it would just be prepared already.
Yeah.
So the cooks would just take it and throw like, the other things to kind of mix up, like the lemon juice or lime juice, whatever, and some garlic and butter. But everything else in the seasoning is completely secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same. I used to work in this restaurant in Costa Mesa called On Key.
Oh,
you worked at On Key?
Yeah.
I was a busser at On Key.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, and
When?
in On Key, speaking of like secrecy, like they have a secret kitchen.
What do you mean?
What?
Like they have a secret kitchen. They have a separate kitchen within their kitchen
What?
that has
What
like a
for?
window that they.
But not everyone could go.
Not
inside?
everyone. Like I remember when I was there, like it was like, oh, you have to put in X amount of time working there. So Mario's employee would have got access for sure. 'Cause she put in 20 years. You know, you got to put in like 10 years plus to be able to access the secret kitchen. Yeah. So like in terms of like. Me doing what I do now, just giving out recipes freely, and in the kitchen world, everybody's so protective of like recipes and stuff. Like that's a part of like,
Well, you would
This
never
is
let
crazy.
Ben let in there. He's gonna
for
give us.
sure not,
He's gonna give our recipes out for free.
That's wild. I did not know that about Anki.
Yeah, now you know. But yeah, like so, like going back to what I was saying earlier, like imagine you're able to just buy like a $15 box of seasoning. You're able to just mix a couple of things, and then boom, you can just mix it into your crawfish boil, and then you have the Viet Cajun boil. So.
Dude,
to answer your question.
Yeah, that's so funny that you said that because when you were saying that, I was like, dude, I had that same idea. When I was working there, I was like, if I could just package this shit, game over.
No, but like that's the thing though. Anybody could do it. Like anybody listen to this now, like your friend or whatever, you're kicking crab or bowling crab, they could do it now. But do they have the platform to like, because the reason why I'm building my platform is so that I'm able to just stamp my name on it and like, it's it's David's.
David's special sauce.
Yeah. David's special drink. Mario, relax. I got a girlfriend, bro.
What kind of sauce are you talking about, guys?
Relax. Stop.
Why are you blushing?
No, it's because the lighting, the white tea.
So, we've talked a lot about like cooking and all that, and I know that's what you're known for. But what's something that people who follow you don't really know that you do in your life? You know, what else that you do besides cooking and creating content?
Shit. I mean, I think I mentioned it earlier. I'm also a licensed nail tech.
Yeah.
Like that was a part of my life for like a good 3-4 years, like helping out my parents. And man, I'm also a florist, I guess.
You're a florist?
No, I recently picked it up. Like that was mine and my girlfriend's like our connect.
Yeah.
Because she posted this flower thing, and then I'm like, oh shit. No. Actually, it was because I have this new apartment space, and I just wanted to feel lively, so I have plants in there. And then I was like, some floral arrangement would be nice. And all of a sudden, I see her posting stuff. I'm like, hey, how'd you do that? Like I wasn't sliding in her DM to like, but was I? No, so like I just basically asked her like, oh hey, how'd you do? It's like an ikebana, it's like a Japanese style floral arrangement. So she said that was that. So that's where I learned how to, and then I started doing a little bit of research. So I don't know if you guys seen it on my stories. Every now and then I post flower arrangements.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's just cook. I film all of my stuff, so I guess I'm a producer. Yeah. I edit all my stuff, so I'm an editor as well. So it's like you got to wear so many hats. Yep. But the main thing is, the nail thing that my audience don't know about. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You have like other hobbies too besides floor.
Oh shit, jujitsu.
Oh yeah, I saw that on your story.
Yeah, jujitsu is I'm very active. I'm at the gym a lot. So the question that comes up a lot is how am I so fit? Or like, because I eat out a lot, bro.
Yeah,
I eat out and I cook and eat a lot because there's so many events that I go to that's food related.
And all the
like
crawfish you're eating,
well, the crawfish, but I try to keep a very consistent gym schedule and jujitsu mainly for the mental health. Yeah, because doing what I do, I don't get to come out and like have conversations like this.
Yeah.
So it just whatever that gets built up or whatever stress that accumulates throughout the week is like I get to do that through jiu-jitsu and take that out, on my training.
Let it out on the mat.
Yeah, like
it's like your meditative practice.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's been great.
How long have you been doing it?
I did it for a short amount of time before, like a couple months when I was in Reno. Then work got in the way, and then I just recently picked it up again, like in February.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's still pretty fresh, still white belt if anybody at home practice jiu-jitsu. But yeah, but it's like it's one of those things, right? It's like it's a lifelong journey. It's not something that you pick up and you're gonna master and then you throw it in the closet. Jiu-jitsu for me, like I wish I started sooner, but it's never too late to start for everybody because I have people who are in their 50s that are starting and they, and it's like, oh, it's just helping me so much with my mobility, blah, blah, blah. It's mainly for the mental health aspect.
Oh, that's dope. Because jiu-jitsu has gone really popular in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always seen it, obviously. I'm a fan of like MMA, so it's like you see it here and there, but I know a lot of people who take classes now.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is like for their mental health.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And because I've never done jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like I've taken combat classes, like Muay Thai and stuff like that, but jiu-jitsu seems like people get addicted to it. That's what I'm hearing.
You do. There is because for me at least, I can't speak for everybody else. Is because back in high school, like I played sports, tennis. Used to be on the tennis team, and at in the kitchen I would compete. So there is that level of competitiveness that. I mean, after cooking or now that I'm in my apartment filming content, I'm not really competing with anybody, But once I'm on the mat, it's like, oh, shit. Like, I also have this sudden urge to learn to get better. Because if I don't get better, I'm going to get my ass kicked.
True.
Right? So it's like, it sparked this other fire in me. I was like, oh, shit. Like, up until jiu-jitsu, I've just kind of been going through the motion. I've been comfortable in my content. I'm not switching up shit, like I'm comfortable. But after jiu-jitsu, I'm like, oh, I feel that same fire I felt when I first started cooking and got into culinary. Right, so it's like the two and two, it really like correlates.
I like that.
I
didn't know you were so competitive.
Well, used to. I mean, not now, but like I said, it's for the physical health reason as well and mental health.
Yeah, no, that's tight, dude.
Yeah, good shit, man.
Yeah, good
Jiu-jitsu.
shit.
Thank you.
All right, guys, welcome to Lightning Round, where we ask our guests some rapid fire questions. If they can't answer on time, they got to drink their water.
We're trying to be healthy.
Make sure I'm not. There you go. No branding.
Yeah. Not until we sponsor us.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right, 1, 2, 3. What's your favorite color?
Black.
Favorite dish?
Pho.
Oh, first kiss.
Don't remember.
Ooh.
Oh, do you have a fetish?
Do not.
Who inspires you?
My mom or my parents, both of them.
If you could only cook one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Shaking beef.
Ooh, I love the shaken beef. It's so good.
Because we got the salad in there.
Yeah. Who would you love to create with?
Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah. What about somebody who a living?
John Favreau.
Okay. Oh yeah. What's the last time that you felt sad?
Shit. This morning.
Why?
No, I've just been very lethargic. Just being complacent. Like I said, comfortable with what I'm doing. Like just going through the motion of like not pushing myself and stepping out of my comfort zone. Because I've been sticking with the same content style that I'm not challenging myself. So I'm like, fuck, man. Like I need to switch it up. I mean, I wasn't really sad, but like,
no, I feel you.
yeah, it was just that feeling.
What are you proud of?
What I've built so far. Yeah.
If you could change anything about yourself, what would it be?
Nothing.
What makes you the happiest?
Being able to give and provide for the people I love.
Okay. And my last question is, what goal do you have this year that you want to accomplish?
Consistently doing what I say I'm going to do.
All right, David, what's the best dish you've ever eaten?
Eaten?
Yeah.
Shit.
Salad.
So much. Yeah, right. There's been so many, but just recently, my meal at a restaurant called Mansky.
Oh, where's it?
It's in LA. It's like a tasting menu. It's for a brand event. But the food was great, but what added on to that experience was I was able to reconnect with one of the chefs I used to work with at the French Laundry.
Oh, nice.
Which made that meal super more like emotional and but yeah, so that tasting meal at Mansky.
What is 3 things that you look for in a dish? That's must have.
Texture, of course, flavor, and how much thought went into it.
What is your favorite country that you've traveled to?
Singapore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why Singapore?
Food, culture, just I don't know, man. Like everything about Singapore. Like once I get to a financial financial level, I'll make sure I have a property in Singapore.
Really? Dude, Singapore is super expensive, bro.
Yeah.
You crazy rich Asians, bro.
I gotta get crazy rich.
I guess there you go. Let's start packaging some of the hot seasoning. If you could talk to your sister one last time,
Yeah.
what would you want to tell her?
I would say I got us.
All right, guys, that concludes our lightning round. I want to say thank you to our very funny guest, David. Let us know where we can find you.
Thank you guys for having me. You guys at home can find me across all platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram at DVD Nguyen. Basically, just David without the A and the I, and then my last name.
I want to say thank you, Dave, for coming out, man. I really appreciate getting to catch up with you and connect outside of the club. You know? And thank you guys for tuning in, watching the whole episode through. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below what you guys want us to talk about next time. And remember, live fast, eat ass.